finally, after a year of talking about it every week, we're here.
Exactly.
It still smells weird.
D block. This is where they were, right? Here for the weekend. Ken and Mike have been signing books all day long. A lot of people are interested.
Oh, someone with their dog.
Wow, they have dogs in Alcatraz now. Well, he's got service. What do you think, Sin?
It's just so small. Can you imagine being in there? It would be horrible.
They're tiny cells.
Horrible. I would have a panic. It's being in like a really small closet. And you can.
Let's go inside.
There's somebody in there.
There's somebody in there. Oh, someone's going in there. So what's really funny is that everybody is taking pictures of themselves sitting in the toilet in the cells.
Why are you putting it right on my head?
See? People like to take pictures of themselves sitting in the toilet. You going inside, Sin?
Oh, it's scary. Oh my God, it's creepy. It's very creepy. It's so small. I mean, where was the bed? Here? You sleep on the toilet? Like, what is this?
Well, I guess we'll see their cell. It's got to be
Oh my
around here.
God,
But
it's horrible.
hey, step back.
No, I don't like it.
You don't like it?
Little dog.
Even dogs can come to Alcatraz.
Oh my God. I don't like it.
You don't like it? Hey, little dog. So we've been talking about this place for like a year now.
I know, and it is really, really small. These cells are tiny. I would have a claustrophobic fit.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't even stand up in there. Like, and you're in there 24 hours a day? Oh, you go crazy. No wonder they dug themselves out.
Well, they were only here for like a year and a half, not even 2 years.
I wouldn't want to be here for one day. I'd dig myself out too. Where's the cell? We need to find their cell.
Yeah, I know.
We don't have the audio.
We don't have the what?
We don't have the audio tour like everybody else.
Oh, okay. Audio tour. That's pretty cool. Utility corridor, okay. So this is where they would do all the work, Sen. In the utility corridor, this is where they would dig out to this area. That's where Alan West was doing work. That's where he would find all the tools, remember?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Look up too, like it goes all the way up.
Yeah, it goes up the whole thing. Oh, here they are. It's the fake heads. There they are. There's the fake head. So this is 152. Then this is 150. There's the other fake head. guitars. I can't remember, Sin. Did Ken said that this is the original artwork on their walls, and they can't get them. They got some of it back, but not all of it. Can't remember if their cells were right next to each other, or are they just using these? Oh, there's the hole.
Yeah, they put them right next to each other. That was the whole thing. They said that was like the biggest mistake.
What did they say?
They were used for America's Most Wanted, Alcatraz, The Escape.
What does that say?
Huh. The escaped inmates are still considered fugitives. Now, why would that be if they were dead? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh yeah, here's the thing.
It says it right there. This was staged for the TV show America's Most Wanted in 1962, story of the 1962 breakout. The escaped inmates are still considered fugitives. Why?
Coincidence?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay. We're back with my uncle's escaped Alcatraz, and where are we, guys?
We are sitting in Alcatraz, and this is really a day after the actual anniversary. 63 years ago, yesterday, that's when the guards discovered that they were gone. I mean, this place was lit up. You had sirens going off. You had guards running around. You had inmates screaming. You know, FBI was on their way. It was chaos.
Yep, here, absolutely. Yeah, right now it's quiet. Like 63 years ago, it was not quiet. Everything was being shut down. They're trying to figure out what happened to John and Clarence and Frank Morris. And 63 years later, we're here to tell that story.
I know, it's crazy. Just get a little closer to the mic for when you're talking there, just so we can kind of hear you a little bit more. Sin,
Yeah.
it's been a year.
It has been a year, every week, talking to you guys about Alcatraz. And now that we're here, I haven't been here in a very, very long time. And as we were walking up, I was thinking, how on God's earth did these men get out of this place? I mean, it's incredible. Honestly. I mean, we're in the middle of the ocean. It's insane. I mean, honestly, you don't realize it until you actually come here. And the fact that it's been 63 years, and look how many people are here. I mean, there's hundreds of people flowing in and out of here. It's insane. Right. This is an incredible story, incredible journey that we've been on with you guys. And it's very exciting.
Well, you know, I don't know if you had the opportunity to go and actually go inside one of the cells, and you look and you see how the very first time I ever went in, and I put my hands across from one side to the other, and my first response was, why the hell would you want to stay here? You know, I would have been finding any opportunity that I could to leave this place. I mean, I couldn't imagine being in that little small cell, like hours on top of hours every single day.
No, it would be horrible. And then you're looking out and you see the world going by. No, it would be really awful.
Well, and they were saying, the inmates were saying that when they were in the exercise yard, they can see San Francisco, and it was a stone's throw away. And they said that for them was the worst thing, because it was so close, and yet it was out of reach. And that it tormented them.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the last time I've been to this island, I think we were talking about this last night at dinner. It was 1991, so it's been a really long time. You know, over 30 years. And what I thought was, Ken and I, we were talking about a little bit on the ferry ride over, is that just how it looks close, but it really is not close.
No.
Does it? And you look at those waters, the water does not look friendly.
No.
And you swam that water.
I did.
You did the iron.
It was the Alcatraz Escape Alcatraz Triathlon.
There you go.
I did it in 2016, and which was almost 10 years ago.
Wow. And I just can't, I mean, just the currents alone, you look at it, it just looks very unforgiving. And so, which kind of rules out that they swam, even though they were like amazing swimmers.
They were very good swimmers.
But what I thought was interesting that you guys pointed out is, as we got close to docking into the dock there, that underneath is where they were kind of hiding, with the raft and the extension cord, the 100-foot extension cord. and it's really, you can't see underneath it. It's pitch black underneath.
And it's about 7, 8
really
feet high above where the dock is, where the water is about 7, 8 feet.
Exactly.
So you can be right under there. No one's going to see you.
And then what was the tide like that night? Was it high or low?
It was high tide. It was going out.
Okay.
So I believe there was 3, 4 knots that
About
they
that,
had
yeah.
clocked. But you know, a little light fog. It's 11 o'clock at night, so it's very dark. So you can imagine how dark it was. You saw the docks today when we pulled up, how dark it was. Imagine at 11 o'clock at night, you have a little fog going on. You have the only guard tower that was manned at that time. He's listening to the baseball game.
Yeah.
He's not paying attention to what's going on. I mean, no one suspected that there was an escape occurring that night.
Yeah, I remember wasn't there a very significant baseball game going on that night?
It was just a game.
Yeah.
That all the guards and inmates were listening to it, and the guard tower that's by the dock, it's still there today. It's the last guard tower that's remaining. We have a picture of a guard there who was posing, and right next to him is his radio.
There you go.
And that night he was most likely listening to the game, very distracted. He's probably been there dozens and dozens of times. Nothing ever happened. And
Exactly.
you're not going to keep looking at the water. You're going to be looking at the prison, if anything.
Exactly.
So
That's crazy. But what I thought was really interesting is that you couldn't see anything.
no.
I mean, because the dock doesn't have any gaps in between it or anything like that. It was a perfect hiding place.
Yes.
To be there, and with a 100-foot extension cord. Mm-hmm. They're looking at the boat go away, and they're like, "Oh, the boat's going away," and they probably just changed their focus to something else.
Right.
And they were just getting to it. And the boat, their raft was black. I'm sure they were all in black. So probably couldn't even see anything.
You know what? I think we have a couple of people that want to come up and talk to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on up.
Hey, I would love it if you would sign this book for me.
Absolutely. Would you like to be on our podcast?
I
You got a question for us?
don't have a particular question.
No question.
No,
Okay,
It's okay.
okay.
Well, just go ahead, sign the book. Do you guys have a pen and stuff?
Yeah, no, actually, I have a good friend who is a huge fan of this. Her name's Jennifer. So I was wondering if you could even address it to
Of course.
Jennifer
Happy to.
for me.
To Jennifer, Jennifer.
Yeah. And I haven't read this, but she told me about it. She's a big fan of a history and all that stuff. So I actually haven't read the book, so I don't have a good question yet.
But if you have you done the tour?
I did, yeah, I
So based upon that, what would you ask me if I was, since those are my uncles,
Yeah.
and what would you want to ask me about them?
You know, it's an interesting thing. So I used to be a commercial plumber, and I built prisons, right? And
You built prisons?
Yeah, so I'm from the Midwest, but not anything like out here. But now they literally drop in a whole steel cage, right?
Right.
And we were plumbers, so there's essentially one fixture that is made of steel that all the utility comes out of the backside of, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Right, yeah.
for me, the idea of making their way through that concrete with the kind of engineered drill, spoon kind of-
technology.
I think the idea of the consistency or the patience to be able to do that discreetly in a way that to go unnoticed, and you see that cardboard and you're kind of like, well, of course. I mean, it doesn't quite look like it. But you think about the volume of the cells and kind of
Right.
the passing of time. It just makes me wonder how long something like that would take holistically.
Well, when John came to the island in 1960,
Yeah.
on the boat ride over, he was already planning to escape. In fact, he wrote home to his mom, to
Interesting.
my grandmother, and said, the boat ride was nice, but it was going the wrong way. And so he was already planning in his head. John was very crafty when it came to being able to take stuff and use it to his benefit.
Sure.
I mean, they grew up very poor, him and his brother.
Yeah.
And so they knew how to take something and twist it into their benefit. And I can tell you right now, John was already planning the day he stepped off that boat.
That's interesting.
And one of the things to make your point about, kind of doing it discreetly, because you're making noise, you're chipping away at cement.
yeah.
Well, in the evening time, it was known as the kind of the music hour.
Yeah,
and so
I heard
inmates
that.
in their cells can play guitars, harmonica.
Yeah.
Frank Morris had an accordion, and so they would intentionally make a lot of noise with their instruments. Well, one was digging, the other was making the noise, and he was also the lookout. If the guards were coming, you would signal them, and they'd go back to doing normal things in the cell. And when the guard left, they'd start up their work again. So that masked a lot of the noise.
That's amazing. Do you know how long it took them?
Oh my gosh! So let's see. They started
Yeah, I think it was
probably
around
like on
December.
60. Yeah, like
December of '62.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
around that time,
61.
right?
Excuse me, 61. And then probably it took probably a couple of months because all four of them, of course, were working on their own, back at the cells. Chipping away
It
at
took a while to chip through the concrete.
I would say
Yeah, because they didn't want to do it in such a way that, it would be noticed. And
Yeah.
John was taking some of the concrete out in his pocket,
Pockets,
out to the yard. But then they also learned that they could use some of that concrete in making the heads. So they used some of it, wet it down, and use it as cement.
Well, in preparing for a book like this, what was the thing that surprised you the most? Like, what was
Oh my
the
gosh.
thing that you were kind of like, maybe you knew the story, but you
Yeah.
maybe sit down, you write it, go deeper?
Well, so, and it's in the book, but
Yeah.
it's the discovery of Mickey Cohen is probably the biggest key to this whole story.
Oh, cool.
And so we take you into, one, how they met Mickey Cohen, even years before
Sure.
the Alcatraz piece of it. And meeting this mob boss, they were actually working for him. And you just go into, there's another story that's within the story that I want you to read it. I don't want to tell you what it is. I want to see if you
No
can pick it out.
spoilers. No
Yeah, no spoilers.
Yeah.
And then if you actually, when you get done with it, go out to our Facebook page.
Sure.
Escape
Alcatraz Escape.
Yeah.
And post on there what you thought it was.
I will.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, Mickey played a central role in the escape. Without him, it wouldn't have happened.
Really?
That he was the one that made the escape possible.
Huh. Cool. Well, thank you. Appreciate
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
your time.
All right,
Yeah,
if you
enjoy
want
it.
this,
You wanna
this
take a
is,
picture? Oh, sure. Yeah, you want to? That'd be awesome.
and this is all going to be on our podcast. It's called Partners in True Crime, which we've been covering this for about a year now.
Yes. We've been doing a whole year worth of these podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm not taking it.
I'm gonna get you looking at the camera too.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
All right, that's the money shot.
Awesome.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet
Thank you. Thanks for
Great to
stopping
meet
by. So there you go. Another happy fan, or a new fan.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's amazing how many people think they know the story. Most people know the story from the movie or whatever they hear on the audio tour here at the island. But the book is far from any of that.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
we were here yesterday. That was our first day. This is our second day. You weren't here, so we couldn't record it. But we met people from literally all over the world. Netherlands, England, Scotland, Australia, Italy.
I believe it.
And of course, people from all over the country are coming
Yeah.
here, and they know about Alcatraz, and they were like, and one person even said, this was on my bucket list before I died.
Wow.
I wanted to visit, and they were from another country. It's like, I got to visit Alcatraz. And here they are. And we ask them, and we say, well, your first time here, what is it that you really enjoyed? What really stuck out to you? And they say, everything. Everything about the tour was just amazing.
That's weird.
It is weird. People are so interested in this story. 63 years later.
I know.
Mike and I, on the way back down to catch the boat, we were talking to each other. I was like, do you really think that they thought about how famous this was going to become? It was just like,
when
did
they're
they
in
have
the
any
cells
idea
planning
how
this,
They had no
this was
idea.
going to turn out?
They've become celebrities, and people write books about them, and this podcast, and the story is still being told all these years later. And for them, it was just an escape to have freedom.
Well, what I think is really interesting is like when you guys started doing this and you wrote the book initially, there was initial, because they're very protective over the historical accuracy of what's going on.
Hey, we got somebody else. You want to be on our podcast?
Certainly. Why not?
So,
Here, come on over here.
so who are you? What's your name?
Randy Jones.
Randy Jones. Okay. So do you have a question?
Well, actually, just my wife and I, this has been on our bucket list. Just to come out here and see the actual.
We were just talking about how this is on people's bucket list.
Is it?
So you came up the perfect time.
I planned that.
Okay, good.
I did. I really
So
did.
now you know these men are my uncles.
I was reading the back of that. Did
Yes.
not know that initially,
Yes.
but that's amazing. Looking forward to reading it and learning more.
What would you like to ask about my uncles?
What was the most shocking thing you learned from your uncles?
Oh gosh, their relationship to a famous mob boss by the name of Mickey Cohen. They were also very good friends with Whitey Bulger. Which
Who
totally
were on
shocking
the
when
island
they
at
met.
the time.
Yes. And both of them actually aided in the escape. Mickey Cohen probably more so than Whitey Bulger, but they knew each other, and I became very good friends with Whitey Bulger, and he shared with me many times about how he thought John reminded him of Steve McQueen the first time he ever saw him, and he spoke very highly of him. He liked him a lot.
Amazing. Really
That was some of the surprising things I found out.
And then for Mickey Cohen, they had a business relationship with him before the escape, and then they were sent here about the same time, and so he actually bonded out of Alcatraz about 8 months before the escape and procured a boat for them. And so when he came back, when his appeal was denied, he set everything up for them. So when they got into the water, there was a boat waiting to pick them up.
Oh yeah, they didn't
And
hardly even get out in the water.
that was a huge revelation, and we found information in the FBI report that corroborates that. And we also have some other testimonies that say the same thing.
That's amazing.
And we
The book
documented
is
in the
very,
book.
yeah, the book is very deep. These guys came on like a year ago, our podcast. We have a true crime podcast, and they thought they were going to spend one episode of promoting their book, and now we have like
Over a year.
and 60 episodes,
Amazing.
and hopefully a potential television documentary deal in the works. And we have hopefully some earth-shattering new information
Yes.
that is going to really put to bed this whole story.
Is that Randy, R-A-N-D-Y?
Yes. And my wife is Janet.
Oh, so for both of them. Okay.
Yes, please.
Randy and Janet.
Well, you're gonna learn a lot of new things in the book. Things you've never even heard of.
Look forward to it. This is really cool.
And we're happy to share it with the public.
And the podcast is
It's Partners in True Crime.
okay.
If you just Google that book, you'll find it. It'll come
Yes.
up.
My uncle's escaped Alcatraz. Yeah.
You get to see yourself on the podcast. Nice to meet you.
All right.
Huh?
Thanks for coming by. Take care. So it's, like I said, it's a bucket list.
It is a bucket list.
And to me, I mean, bucket list for me is like the Vatican City.
Going to the moon.
I was trying to get a new fan on the podcast.
It's iconic.
You want to come on the podcast?
That's what I was trying to
Come
say
around-
from
come
the
around the
beginning. Is that this place is iconic around the world. Everybody knows about Alcatraz.
Hello.
Hi.
You want to be on the podcast? You come here. Come right up here. So what's your name?
Olivia.
Olivia. Okay. How old are you, Olivia?
6.
6.
She's doing a podcast, yeah.
So-
are you Olivia's parents? Okay, can you stand right there, please, so we know that you're there?
So Olivia, did you take the tour?
What's the turtle?
Did you go through Did you go through it?
Come up a little closer.
So
okay?
what did you find interesting about it?
I
No, you don't know. Do you believe they made it? The men who escaped? You do? Did you see the cells that they were in?
know. Uh-huh.
Ooh.
Did you go in one of the cells? Did you go inside one of the cells? Was it big or small?
Small.
Yeah, it was very small. Is it smaller than your room? Yeah, I think it is.
I'm glad I don't live out here.
That's why his uncles escaped from it.
Those are my uncles. And they actually were here.
Here, you got one of these? It's a little book reader. Those are his uncles.
So if you could ask a question, what would you ask?
Why are this even alive?
Well, they're not alive anymore, but they were. And they got out here because they did something bad. They robbed a bank. They were bank robbers. They should have stayed in school.
Stay in school. Stay in school.
Stay in school. Stay in school. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Olivia.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, bye-bye.
Yeah,
Hey, you're young, and they still know about it. You know.
Well, listen. It's it's usually that ages that these things kind of make impressions on people.
Yes.
Like when you were a little kid and you went to like any time of thing. I remember when any like historical significance. Like when you were in Washington D.C. or anything
The Alamo
Like that.
or
The Alamo.
something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, when I was 7, I went to Rome, and I still remember it vividly.
How could you? Yeah.
Yeah.
How could you? Iconic images. But it was good. I mean, this book signing has been yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and we have another person.
Huh?
Oh, we're doing a podcast.
We're doing a podcast.
You have a question?
You have a question?
Is the book online available?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
It's on it.
but you can't get it signed online.
That's true.
You can
Because
sign it
I
right here
cannot-
with us too.
I cannot bring. My name is Leia. I cannot bring it to Canada.
You can't bring
I'm
it.
very limited.
Oh.
Is it available in the bookstore?
Well, it's on Amazon.
Yeah, you can't get it on Amazon.
Yes, I
And
have
we also-
okay.
it's also an audiobook.
audiobook. Okay. Thank you.
Here you go. Take one of these.
Hey, would you like to ask a question? Be on the podcast?
Did they really escape?
Yes. Yes. And in the book, we show you where they went to and a picture of them.
Okay. Question more.
Okay.
Still alive?
No. John was the last one, and he died in 2016.
Yeah, they would, if they were alive today, they'd be in their mid-90s.
I know that's so true.
Yeah.
But they all went to Brazil. That's where they went to.
So they really swim or?
They never-
I'm interested in this book.
Yes.
Yes.
But like I got those kind of questions how they manage.
Oh my gosh.
It's in
Well,
there.
the book is detailed about it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hello.
Sign that for me.
Of course.
Would you like to be on the podcast?
Sure.
Do you have any questions for you?
So they recovered the raft,
Right.
And then there was articles of clothing recovered as well, if my memory serves
Yes,
correctly.
Yes.
on the beach.
On the beach.
On the beach.
Right.
But nothing else.
No.
Okay.
Well, they did find 2 life vests.
Yes.
And they found
Yeah.
one of the paddles, and then there was also a pouch that had photographs and addresses and names that are tied to Jerry
Letters.
Clarence.
Okay. Now the raft was found where? I'm doing this all off of memory from documentary.
It was
Yeah.
found on the beach of Angel Island.
Okay.
The next morning.
Okay.
Well, there was actually 2 rafts. There was one up on top of the cell house that they left behind. They actually created 2.
Yes.
And then they, at the last minute, they created another one, which is the one that they took with them, or they used. And that one was later discovered on Angel Island.
Right. There was a guard named Cliff Fish and another guard we only know by the name of Olaf. They had a boat. On the day of the escape, they come there and they just said, go out of the water, just start looking, we don't know where they are. And Olaf was a fisherman, and he kind of estimated the tides at the time when they left and when they came back, and he said, well, if there was a raft on the water, it would be in the Angel Island area. So they go there and they find it on the beach, and then they search the island, and they didn't find any evidence of being there. So they sort of realized that the raft had washed on because of the tides. They tie the raft back to their boat, and then they tow it back to Alcatraz, and then the FBI and the prison officials examine the boat. And the next day, when Cliff Fish comes back to continue in the search, he says the raft was gone, and it disappeared, and they don't know what happened to it.
Okay, because the raft was found intact.
Yes.
It was intact, still inflated.
Yeah, they
inflated
towed
and
it back.
intact.
They towed it back to the island.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was always thought that they probably survived.
Oh, they
the
did
trip
survive.
to Angel Island.
Yeah.
right?
Well, they didn't go to Angel Island.
Okay.
That was the original plan, though, was for them to go to Angel Island. The plan actually changed right after Mickey Cohen got back to Alcatraz after he had bonded out. He came back, and the plan actually changed, and they wound up catching a boat halfway in between Alcatraz and Marina Green. They had a boat waiting for them.
Really?
And
Mickey Cohen had
they went
provided-
right to that boat. The boat took them to a local marina just right down the from the bay here, and from there they caught an airplane all the way into Mexico.
Okay. And they were smart. They never public.
Well, from there they eventually then went to Brazil.
Okay.
And they married. They had children, and that's where they lived their life at.
So before they left, another inmate that was here was Whitey Bulger, who was
Yes.
a very famous mobster.
Yep.
And he was friends with them, and he helped with the escape. He didn't participate directly, but he was assisting them. And one of the things he told the brothers, which he later wrote a letter to Ken, that when you leave and you go where you're going to go, you have to cut off all contact with the family.
No contact
No letters,
whatsoever.
no phone calls, no anything, because if you do, he
They'll
knew
fi- they'll
that
find
the authorities would be monitoring, which they were. They harassed his family for years and years and years, tapping phones, monitoring their mail, had people in front of their house observing them. The FBI would just show up at their house and just interrogate the family many, many times over the years. And so that's why Whitey said you can't do anything, because if you talk, they're going to find you.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I appreciate your guys' time. Sign it. I'll definitely.
Sure. And what is your name?
My name's Martin. Martin, and then England last name.
thought you said England at first.
England.
I thought he said England too.
Looks like it's a relative.
England, like England, the country.
England, just like the country. Yeah.
Oh, and the podcast.
Oh yeah, we've been doing this podcast about this book for the past year. It's called
Okay.
Partners in True Crime. So
Okay. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked all things Alcatraz.
So you'll be on the podcast.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And we've had U.S. Marshals on with us. We've had FBI people on. We've had
wow.
some famous people on the podcast.
Well, I appreciate it. I'll look it up. Thank
All
you,
right,
guys.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
People are very excited about this escape.
Oh yeah.
Why wouldn't you be? It's like telling
great
you, it's like,
story.
you know, how could you not be excited about a prison escape?
But that's really what kind of has shocked me is that after 63 years, there even young people are still interested. People from other countries about this escape. It's like this mystery that just has captivated everyone in the whole world.
Exactly.
It's absolutely
I mean, the only one, I remember that one, the other prison escape I was fascinated with was when that movie Charles Bronson did, Breakout. And that was based on a true story.
Right.
Where the guy's wife hired learned how to fly a helicopter.
Right.
And stole a helicopter and basically broke out her boyfriend or husband's and flew into the yard.
In the yard, right.
And actually, I can't remember the end result of it, whether or not they actually got away.
But I think because this is such a mystery, people love mysteries. That's what it comes down to.
You want to be on the podcast?
It's a mystery.
Ask a question.
Are you going to be on the podcast?
Yeah,
you ask me.
Who's got a question?
What do you think of it?
What's your name, first of all?
Scott.
Scott. Okay.
So why do you think they made it?
Why do we think they made it? Well, how many hours do you have?
Very big
That's why there's so
question.
much.
So, I guess another question I could ask you is why do you think they didn't make it?
Just because what everybody said with the waters and how dangerous it was to get through.
Well, okay, so I swam those waters in 2016, and I made it. And actually, week before last, there were 2,000 people who did it. So why would you still think they didn't make it?
They never resurfaced anywhere.
Well, so there's no bodies, right?
You got to read the book.
Yeah. But in the book, we show you proof. I actually show you a picture of them in Brazil in 1975. You can see them right.
Page 340.
340. Go to 340.
And when do you think they died?
John died 2016.
And then Clarence about
And they
2010.
stayed clean?
They did. Once they got to Brazil, they both married. They had children. They owned a large farm, and they lived a good life. They knew they couldn't come back to the U.S., even though they did a couple of times. But secretly. After a while, I told a U.S. Marshal one time, John could walk right by you and say, "Hey," and you wouldn't even know who he was. Because after a few years, you're not going to recognize him.
So one of the difference for their escape and when people escape today, and recently there were a couple of very famous escapes that just happened from prisons. John and Clarence grew up as farmers. Their whole family was farmers for many, many years. So they already had farming skills. Whereas most criminals, being a criminal is their skill.
Yeah.
And so when they escaped and went down to Brazil, they started a farm again. They had something to provide them with resources, money, food, place to live. Whereas other criminals, like the ones that were caught, they were trying to hide. They were trying to use their family to hide them, and eventually they get caught. And so Whitey Bulger, who was at Alcatraz at the time, very famous mobster, was friends with them, and he told them, if you're going to be successful, you have to cut off all contact with the family, because if you do, he knew that they would be monitoring communication with the family, which they did. They harassed his family for many years, the FBI and the U.S. Marshals. They would show up unannounced, go and walk in the door, sit down, tell us, we know you know where they are. They intercepted mail. They had people watching their house. You look out the window, there's somebody watching the house for many, this went on for a long time. And so they knew they couldn't, they escaped, but they became kind of prisoners in a different way. They were isolated from their family. They could never go back.
The only family members that ever kept in contact with them were one of the brothers who helped them plan the piece once they actually got to the water, and he was in close contact with them for 25 years. I mean, he actually even visited them several times. So yeah, I mean, we have proof, and we document it in there, not just family proof, but FBI records. I mean, I became very good friends with several U.S. Marshals and FBI people, and we show you things in there that I promise you have never seen before in your life.
You two wrote the book?
Well, I'm the
Are
nephew.
you the
of
nephew? You're the nephew.
He's a nephew.
Yeah, I'm the nephew, and I actually, me and him both wrote it.
And then you wrote the book?
Yeah.
Well, together.
Together, okay. All right. We're gonna get the book.
So you're
You want
The
to
only
sign it?
time you're ever going to get
So are
both
you
of us
believer?
signing it at the same time.
I think
Maybe
you're a
we move
believer
the
now?
needle a little bit.
I want to read the book.
So yeah,
And the other thing that we do too in the story, it's not just about the escape, but we really go into who Joan and Clarence and Frank Morris are. We go into their family background, their history, a lot
How
of
they got to
photos,
Alcatraz.
a lot of skills that they learned along the way as children that were indispensable here for Alcatraz. And Alcatraz was not their first escape. They
No.
escaped many times from prisons
no,
growing up.
oh my gosh, Clarence probably had 10 escapes up under his belt before he even got to Alcatraz.
Now, did you meet him? Do you remember?
You know, okay, so both of my uncles Alcatraz when I was born. Clarence actually shows up January the 11th, 1961, and I was born January the 27th, 1961. So I was a year and a half old when they escaped. But now the third brother, because there was actually three brothers who robbed the bank, he was still in Atlanta and eventually went to Alabama to serve his state time. And I was the last nephew to actually see him alive because he died like 2 weeks later.
2 weeks later.
After he told my mom and dad when we were there that he had made contact with his brothers and he knew where they were at. And 11 days later, he was killed in prison.
Wow.
Yeah, and we believe under questionable circumstances.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's
Yes.
interesting.
So anyway, lots of stories in here that I
Yes,
think are
you're
really
gonna
going to
Okay,
enjoy.
I'll enjoy it.
And who is this for?
Scott and Kim.
Scott and Kim. And is 2 T's for Scott?
Yes.
When you read it, there's other stuff in the book that's I won't tell you what it is, but once you read it, go on to our Facebook page, Alcatraz Escape, and tell me what you think about it.
Okay.
Yeah, we love to hear people's thoughts, ideas. Even you don't have to agree with us. You can say, you know what,
yeah,
I read it and I'm not convinced.
I
That's okay.
watched this movie years ago. Thank you very
Hey,
much.
it's nice to
All
meet
right,
you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right.
I know
Thank
there
you.
were criminals, but you always rooted for me.
Hello.
Hey, we're just bank robbers.
Would you like to be on a podcast?
No.
No,
That's a hard no.
That's a hard no.
Well, if you could ask a question, what would you ask?
No. So you're related to
Those
me.
are my uncles.
Your
Those are my
uncles.
mom's brothers.
Well, I do know that there was someone from Kentucky that swam, but he got caught. He escaped, and it says in the...
Oh yeah. There were other escape
Yeah.
attempts here, and I actually, believe it or not, there was one individual who escaped and swam. This might be the one you're talking about, all the way to the bridge.
Yes.
And when he got to the bridge, he was so tired that he
from
just
Kentucky.
pretty much gave up.
And the inmate was from Kentucky.
Yeah, and we're from Kentucky, so
Okay.
he
Home of the bourbon
almost made... That's right. He almost made it.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
and Kentucky Fried Chicken.
And isn't there a famous race in Kentucky? Famous
yeah,
horse
the
race?
Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
And who is this for?
For Randall. Randall. Randall.
All right.
It's my husband, and his grandson's name is also Randall. So
it works for both.
It works for both.
So if you could ask any question from a relative, what would you ask?
Well, it seems like you're a proud relative, so I don't even have to ask that. I can tell you.
Now, is this your first time visiting the island?
This is my third time.
Third time. Wow. So what keeps bringing you back?
Well, the first 2 times was work related, and my employer paid for it all. This time I'm bringing my daughter and granddaughter, and I'm paying for it. So the other 2 was much easier to make. But thank you guys.
Of course.
We'll enjoy this.
All right.
We'll share it. Thanks.
Ken Martin, nice to meet you.
Craig Allison. So they just rob one bank?
Well, that we know of.
They
That's the one they got caught on.
Okay.
Yeah, they were petty criminals. They grew up
Yeah.
in Ruskin, Florida, which is outside Tampa. And they were small timers. They'd go and break into houses, steal car batteries, break into local stores. They grew up very, very poor, and they wanted pocket money. They wanted something just to buy nicer things, and they were looked down upon by their fellow Rusconians, and because they were kind of on the wrong side of the tracks kind of people. And so it's a very long story, but eventually they decide to rob a bank in Alabama in 1958. And that's what ultimately lands them here at Alcatraz. Although they didn't come here directly. No prisoner ever was, except for one.
Except for one, who actually helped them.
Right, it was Mickey Cohen, famous mobster. As Mickey Cohen was here at the time. Whitey Bulger, another famous mobster, was here at the time, and they were all friends. They all helped each other.
It's all in the book.
Wow.
And so John, after they were convicted, John was sent to Lewisburg. Clarence was sent to Leavenworth. John tries to escape from Lewisburg, gets caught, sent to Leavenworth with Clarence, and then John and Clarence try to escape from Leavenworth, and then the warden said, you know what, you guys are too much trouble, we're sending you to Alcatraz. And that's how they got here.
That's how they got here.
Wow.
But there's a lot more to the story than just kind of that.
So you're the relative and you're the...
I'm the writer.
Writer, okay.
Well, co-writer. We wrote it together.
We wrote it together.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anything you'd like to ask us?
Yeah. So what was your crimes that you committed?
I'm not telling.
We actually heard about that last night from his wife at dinner. There's a couple crimes.
No, I'm not going to say.
He's had tattoos removed. That's all I got to say.
That's good. I'm excited to read it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they tell you the story and they never tell you what happened.
I'm going to tell you, the story, the movie is far from what actually happened.
Right.
I assume you saw the Clint
it's a good
Eastwood
movie.
Was it
I
a Clint
love
Eastwood or was it Sean?
Clint Eastwood.
Okay, Sean Connery also did.
Oh, no, he broke into Alcatraz all out.
Okay.
That's a fictional version. That's not. But the Clint Eastwood one is based on the actual escape.
Okay, we'll have to do.
Yeah.
And that one, they end the movie ambiguously. They don't say, they lead it, you can go either way at the end. But they didn't have a lot of the information that we have now.
Yeah.
A lot of records were not available then. And
People that we pulled sources from, a good friend of mine, Whitey Bulger, Mickey Cohen, the FBI files, the people that had actually served here, family members. Nobody who ever wrote any books that's out here on this island right now ever had sources that I have, which is family members.
Right.
So that they never had someone that they could go, like, I have an uncle who kept in touch with them for 25 years. No one on here ever interviewed him but me. So, we bring sources to this story that nobody else has.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So how many, was there other uncles that you had too that were outside?
Well, the family was made up of 7 brothers and 7 girls.
Oh my God.
So John was number 6 in the lineup. Clarence was number 7. The other brother who helped rob the bank was number 5. And then Uncle Man, I call him Uncle Man, his real name is Robert England. He was number 4, and he's the one who kept in touch and actually helped coordinate the outside events that got them into Brazil.
Wow. Wow.
So
very interesting.
It's a much bigger story than just they escaped from Alcatraz, which is remarkable. But what they experienced before and after, it's crazy.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
All right. And who is this for?
Tim Sparkman.
It's this one.
Tim Sparkman?
Yeah.
And
Sparkman.
just how it sounds.
Yeah.
I'm reading a book he gave me, Baker.
Oh, yeah.
I just started reading it.
He's actually going to be here on Sunday.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're leaving
Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. I'm looking forward to reading it. Excited
Well,
about
you
it.
need to, if you really want some really detailed information about every one of the chapters, go and watch this podcast.
Okay.
Because we started off by going through each of the chapters in detail.
Oh, okay.
And we cover things that might not even be in the chapter. So definitely, Rob.
Yeah, partners in true crime. If you Google this,
My uncle's escaped Alcatraz.
Yeah, it'll come up.
Okay.
And we bring in FBI agents, we bring in marshals, we talk to former inmates, we talk to former guards on our podcast.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And there's going to be
Now
new
you're going to be on it.
and there's going to be new information released soon because we've been continuing investigating it.
Oh.
Yep, the story goes on. All right.
Right. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good.
You want to be on a podcast?
Sure. The first time I ever came to Alcatraz, actually, I met the author of Murders on Alcatraz. So it's really interesting that now there's another author signing.
Boy, you just picked the right times to come.
I know.
Well, not only the author,
Nephew.
I'm the nephew of the.
Would you ever recreate the swimming across the bay?
He already did. I actually did it.
You did it?
Yes, I did.
Is there like a video of it?
I do have a video. I think it's on our website. I posted the video of me I did the triathlon. So there is a video that I put together of it.
Okay.
Actually, what we did 3 years ago, we did a TV show, and on the show we recreate the escape because our claim is that they made the raft, and then instead of trying to paddle either to San Francisco or Angel Island and find land and then keep running away from the prison, there was actually a boat waiting for them in the middle of the bay, provided by Mickey Cohen, who's a famous mobster, and they tied their raft to one of the transport boats that was leaving about 11:15 that night to go back to the dock in San Francisco. They're towed into the middle of the bay, and then there's a boat waiting for them, provided by Mickey Cohen. They let go of the extension cord, they paddle to the boat, and then the boat takes them to Half Moon Bay to an airport and flies them to Mexico.
Oh, shit. Wow.
And so...
oh, sorry. It's okay.
And what we do in the show is we recreate the boat towing the raft across the bay, and we actually made it from the island to the
So I remember Mythbusters, they did it all the way to the bay.
Yeah, the Mythbusters actually,
they actually went to Angel Island.
Oh, they went to Angel Island.
But the escape actually occurs the opposite.
Okay.
Yeah, that goes to the bay, or to across the bay to San Francisco, to the dock. So we recreate that in the episode that we were on. So we did do it, and we made it.
Yes.
They made it in the movie as well.
Well, then there's the movie with Clint Eastwood, of course, yes.
Which is, it's partly true. Mostly not true.
Yeah. That's what made me want to come to Alcatraz. My dad showed me that movie. I'm like, I want to go now. I want to go.
No, and you got to see the cells. You got to see John and Clarence's cells, where it's, that's where everything happened.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you go check out the podcast.
I will.
You're
You'll learn
going to be
a whole
on.
lot more.
Oh, yeah. Hi.
And this is to?
For me, Jill, Jill.
Awesome. So Alcatraz was super fun and super excited, and we have more content to show you from that weekend, but just some of the other highlights that are coming up.
We are going to go into a catacomb that no one gets to go into. We had a private tour. It was amazing. So much history. Amazing people gave us the tour. They know so much about what was going on down there. You can't miss it. Don't miss it.
Yeah, and what was your favorite thing about it so far?
About Alcatraz?
Yeah.
I just think the history. I mean, it's so amazing to see a place that has so much history from so many years in the United States, where prisons were really tough. It was rough. I mean, it was not what you think.
Yeah. And what I thought was really interesting, a lot of people, even people from the international community, because people from all over the world came by, they were all asking me to go, we heard that Trump's going to reopen this. Are they going to reopen this? And we thought that was kind of funny. So they were asking us for answers like we had answers. We're like, we don't have the answers.
Well, thousands of people are going to Alcatraz on a daily basis. I mean, it's just packed. People are fascinated with this place. And it does have a spooky feel to it.
Yeah, it does. It does have a spooky feel. And so next week we're going to have the second part of their book signing and the Catacombs tours, which you don't want to miss. And so tune in next week.